Evening.
Hi, so we're gonna start see if people join us here.
Okay. We're waiting. I got a couple
Well,
questions.
Miss Watkins was here, so we're being recorded right now, Tony.
Okay.
She's on the other side. Hi, John Shaw. Hi, Grace. Okay, for the couple of people that have joined us already, we are just waiting for the other commissioners. It's a beautiful night out, so I don't expect a big crowd unless they're really into our really short agenda. We should be out and about. Hi, Alex. Oh, there's Miss Watkins on the other side. Hi, Ms. Watkins, you're back. Okay, everyone, we have 4 commissioners. We're going to start the meeting in 3 minutes. Ms. Watkins, can you give me that date for your meeting? I can't hear you. Go ahead. No, go ahead. What's your date? I can't hear you. No. Hi, Stephen. Not hearing Ms. Watkins. Hello to the 6 people on the other side. We're going to start in 2 minutes. Just some house rules. If you want to speak to us, if you when we call you over to the other side to speak with us, if there is vulgar language or if you're on camera and do something not nice, you will be removed from the meeting. That is the house rule. And we are being recorded. So if you don't want your voice recorded or your image recorded, I would suggest you not join this meeting. Hi, Jackie Delaney. Jackie Delaney's on the other side. She was one of my constituents that was a witness yesterday. All right, Ms. Watkins, like what date is your event?
Tuesday the 19th.
Oh, okay. Got it. Is it in the cooperative? Oh, it's in the library, you said, right?
Oh, it's in the library downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be very happy to attend.
Thank you.
And 6, what time is it that starts?
5:30.
Oh, 5:30, okay.
I'm going to double check that. It might say 5:45, but.
Hi, Shana Glickfield. I do not see MPD yet. Okay, everyone, we're gonna start in a minute. So just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and we'll load it up to YouTube after. If you do come over and to the other side and want to talk to us and your camera's on and your voice is being recorded. So if you say anything vulgar or something like that, you will be removed from the meeting. If you say anything in the chat that is vulgar, you will also be removed in the meeting. And I'm going to make Commissioner McCarty my co-host because he'll be patrolling that. Yeah, no vulgarity in the chat, not allowed. Okay, let's start. We have got a quorum. Okay, everyone, welcome to the March ANC 2G meeting. And we have a small agenda tonight, which is very exciting for everyone. So, Ms. Watkins, can we hear you? Can you want to do the roll call for us?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Roll call. Commissioner Niagara,
No, go 01 first.
01, 2G01,
Present.
2G02,
Present.
03
You.
is myself, of course. 04, Commissioner McCarty.
Present.
05,
Not yet. I don't see her on the other
Tina
side either.
Berry.
Not
I
yet.
don't
She's not
think
here.
yet.
Not
She's
present
not here
yet.
Not yet. And 06,
Me, I am here. So we have 5 of the 6 commissioners here present. We are good to go. So let's approve the agenda. Commissioner McCarty, can you bring it up? I just have my paper version here. Any additions, commissioners? I do want to talk about something else in the legal fund, and that has to do with another potential examining something with a lawyer, and that's we can talk about, but that's part of that whole legal fund thing. Okay, commissioners, there's the agenda. Any additions or concerns or deletions?
Nope.
I
Okay,
move to approve the agenda as presented.
okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Tony Brown seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Watkins?
I,
Okay, motion passes. Great, super. All right, let's see. Anyone from the police? I do not see anyone from the police yet. Who's that call? That phone number? Is that our MPD? No. Okay. All right. So let's move on then. We'll have to get back to them. So let's have, I see, Grace, why don't you go ahead and talk to us here? You moving over, Stephen? Okay, great. So we have Grace Readers from the mayor's office.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all virtually. I made a little joke in the chat earlier about the nice weather, but I do hope you all got to enjoy some of it today. Or if you haven't, you get to go outside later. Maybe go out for a nice patio drink or something. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Grace Reader, and I'm the Ward 2 liaison for the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. In that role, we go to all community meetings, including ANCs, and provide updates on what is happening in the city. So I'll try and keep it brief. And I've already put everything in the chat for you all, so you can click on the links and check that out there. But this week, Mayor Bowser signed Councilmember Brooke Pinto's Secure DC Omnibus legislation into law, and it contained provisions from Mayor Bowser's Safer, Stronger Amendment Act of 2023, as well as the Addressing Crime Trends Now Act of 2023. And following the passage of Secure DC, Mayor Bowser released the following statement. I won't read it here just for the sake of going quick through the updates, but I've put the link to the statement in the chat for you all, as well as a recording of the bill signing, so you can watch that there. Yesterday, Mayor Bowser attended her 10th annual March Madness event. Sorry, there's sirens going by. I don't know if you can. All right. Mayor Bowser attended the 10th annual March Madness event at the Ronald Reagan Building's Atrium Hall, which is the office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development's 10th annual March Madness event, which is the district's yearly business showcase of new real estate, housing, and workforce support initiatives. Additionally, Mayor Bowser wrapped up a series of 4 public engagement forums for DC residents to share their priorities for the fiscal year 25 budget, which included 2 citywide forums, a senior budget engagement forum, and a Gen Z budget engagement forum. You can continue to share your priorities and ideas with Mayor Bowser at budget.dc.gov. And she also, I also put a link in the chat for you all to watch a recording of her public safety meeting she hosted with ANCs a couple, like 2 Saturdays ago, I think it was. And you can view a recording of the meeting, which includes presentations from the city administrator, of course, Mayor Bowser, the deputy mayor for public safety and justice, and the chief of police. And you can also listen to some of the questions that some of your fellow commissioners asked, both in Ward 2 and across the city. So it's definitely a good watch. If you haven't taken a look at it yet, I would definitely encourage you to do so, because it explains a lot, some of the common misconceptions there are about secure DC. So some of those questions you might have yourself. So I would definitely encourage you, if you weren't able to attend in person, to take a look at that recording. Additionally, this week, Mayor Bowser launched the Housing in Downtown program after touring the newly completed L Apartments, which is the first major office to residential conversion in DC's Golden Triangle Business Improvement District. The mayor announced that the preliminary request for application, RFAs, for the Housing in Downtown program is now live on the DemPed website. Housing Downtown is an innovative program designed to catalyze new residential development and add thousands of residents downtown through a 20-year tax abatement. The submission window for applications will open on Friday, March 22nd, and applications will be considered on a rolling basis. The Housing in Downtown program was included in Mayor Bowser's fiscal year 2024 budget, so last year's budget. And additional technical amendments were adopted through emergency legislation in January 2024 to allow for the effective administration of this program. The program is super competitive due to program caps, and in total, the program is capped at, sorry, I just lost my place in my notes. In total, the program is capped at 41 million, and from fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 26, $2.45 million will be available to projects, increasing to a total of 6.8 million in fiscal year 27, and then to 41 million in fiscal year 2028. This program is expected to support district in reaching 90% of the goal to add 15,000 residents downtown by 2028. So we're really excited about that. Additionally, a couple of weeks ago, Mayor Bowser joined the Downtown DC and Golden Triangle bids as they unveiled the Downtown Action Plan and Downtown Public Realm plans. The Downtown Action Plan was developed by the Downtown DC and Golden Triangle bids and provides a detailed roadmap for the reimagination of downtown DC through a targeted and curated approach. You can check out a highlights summary at reimaginedowntowndc.com, and the full action plan will be available for the public in spring 2024. And then the Downtown Public Realm Plan was developed by the district's Office of Planning and Economic Development, Office of Planning, and recommends urban design and public space improvements to downtown streets, sidewalks, parks, and plazas. And you can view that plan at planning.dc.gov/downtown public realm. If you don't want to remember that link, just go to the planning.dc.gov and it'll be right there on the front page. So easy to find. I've dropped the press release in the chat for you all. So you can just click on that link and it'll also include the links for the downtown plans and share a little bit more about that. Additionally, just some housekeeping. DPW started street sweeping last week from March 1st through 7th. They had warning tickets that were being issued, but now there are $45 fines in place if you're parked in a street sweeping zone during the time that parking is restricted. For more information about that program, you can go to dpw.dc.gov. And with that, I'll take any questions you have. For those of you who are just joining, my name's Grace Reeder, and I'm the Ward 2 liaison for the mayor's office.
Okay, commissioners, any questions for Grace? Nope. Okay. Attendees, any questions for Grace? Raise your little virtual hand or press *9 if you're on the phone. No. Grace, it's an easy night.
I love it. Everyone just wants to go outside and
That's
enjoy the
right.
weather.
That's right. All right, thank you,
well,
Grace, for your
I'll be in
time.
the chat, so let me know if you guys have any other questions or need anything from me.
Okay, super.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then we're gonna have Brian from Councilmember Pinto's office. I still don't see the police. I just emailed him. Hi, Brian.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good to see you. I'm going to share my screen too. 1 second. Okay, can you see that okay? All right. Well, as Grace mentioned, last week the council voted to pass Secure DC, Councilmember Pinto's public safety omnibus that we have talked about for the past few months. The council passed a permanent version of the bill and an emergency version, which means that any portions of the bill that do not have a cost can be implemented immediately. While there was spirited debate and many changes were made, 12-0 was the final vote count. And we think that that shows that the council recognizes the seriousness of our public safety challenges and that we are actually pretty united in our efforts to make meaningful and sustainable improvements to public safety around DC. As Grace mentioned, Mayor Bowser signed the bill on Monday, and we thank her for her collaboration throughout the process. I'm going to post our press release in the chat with a refresher on many of the interventions that are part of the bill. You can also see them on the left side of the screen here if that's big enough for anybody to read, probably not. The first 3 drug-free zones began today, actually. The first one is in Chinatown around the Metro exit on H Street. And again, these are, I think it's a 1,000 square foot radius for them. Yes, 1,000 square feet. And then there's also one in Ward 7 around Minnesota Avenue and Benning Road, and one in Ward 8 and around the Woodland Terrace housing community. Councilmember Pinto is going to be closely monitoring the implementation of these zones. Again, they only last for 5 days. It's meant to disrupt the activity that's happening there. So it's not, a lot of people think it lasts for a long time. It's just 5 days. And then I know that there is interest in having one possibly in 2G or right over the border in 2G around the Howard Theater area. So we will definitely keep you posted on any declarations that are made for your area. As a reminder, the chief of police makes the declaration, and that is how they get declared. Another bill of Councilmember Pinto's passed last week, and it deals with dram shop reform. And if you're like me, you're saying, what is dram shop reform? The bill deals with liquor license liability insurance for businesses in the district. We had heard from bars and restaurants across Ward 2 and around DC that many are going without coverage because of how high insurance premiums are in DC. Which then leaves the businesses and the victims with limited financial recourse if there's a violation of liquor license laws that leads to some sort of lawsuit, I guess. This law will hopefully bring us more in line with other states' dram shop laws, and will also ensure that victims have substantive recourse if there is a violation of the laws. And again, this is also hopefully going to help us not lose businesses to Virginia and Maryland, as many small business owners will say, I don't want to set up in DC. Because this liquor license insurance is prohibitive for me to open here. So hopefully this will help with that. 2 weeks ago, Councilmember Pinto transmitted her fiscal year 2025 budget letter to Mayor Bowser. We expect the mayor to release her budget hopefully next week. And then that will be followed by budget hearings and council debate and of course changes to the budget. As you've probably seen in the news or heard from us, we are facing a tough budget this year. There's declining commercial property tax revenue and the expiration of the pandemic-related federal emergency relief funds that we've received in the past. Councilmember Pinto's letter laid out her 3 major priorities this year, and they're pretty big. The first is funding all of her Secure DC plan and bolstering funding to support staffing at our critical public safety agencies, so like MPD, FEMS, OUC, the Once Office, Department of Youth and Rehabilitative Services, and DOC. Investing in the reimagination of our downtown, which we know that a substantial source of our tax revenue is downtown. So we need to ensure that downtown is economically viable, as well as hopefully breathing some fresh ideas into it, like Grace was talking about with the conversions that are happening. And then third priority for her is fully funding WMATA. We have to have an affordable, safe, and reliable transit system and between our bus and our metro. We know that Maryland and Virginia obviously have to contribute their fair shares, but we cannot rely on service cuts or fare increases. And hopefully you've seen that they've been really improving service lately. And the signage is honestly the best part, a lot of new signs. So I'll post the full budget letter in the chat. It's about 8 pages long. There's some additional funding in there for full-time parking enforcement agents, which I know is always a concern, for safe routes to school, street safety upgrades in our school zones. So that includes Seton and KIP, which we are really hoping to get some changes near both soon. And then continued funding for our small business Main Streets programs and clean teams, as well as necessary funding for World Pride planning, which is coming next year in 2025. And we're hoping that will bring a lot of business to the district, but there's also a lot of costs involved, especially with emergency services, as you can imagine. So I will go ahead and pause there, and happy to take questions. And I think I posted all my stuff in the chat already.
Okay. Brian, can you go ahead and take your presentation down? All right, thanks. All right, commissioners, any questions for Brian? No? All right.
Just one quick question,
Oh,
Brian.
Alex.
I was looking to see whether or not a council member had posted her budget letter to the mayor, but I'm scrolling through Twitter and I don't see it. Was that posted?
It was, and it should be in her, it's in my, in the chat as well. It's the last link that I posted there, but yes, she definitely tweeted it, and I'll share the tweet too. Hopefully I can find it.
Thanks.
Thanks for bringing it up, Alex. You know, Brian, we're going to talk about the jail. And I know that there was a conversation between her and Kevin Donahue, the city administrator, about carving out funds for the daily building and the central cell block and all this type of stuff. Do you know where that is? Do you know anything? Did she include that in her official letter? I am clearly behind by a couple days, but did she think about that? Did you state that publicly?
I'm not sure what you're referencing, to be honest.
Well, there's an email out there. I'll do it for you. But apparently Kevin or the city administrator, Kevin Donahue, there was a conversation, I don't know if it was email or I think it was email, about carving out an amount in the budget for if the central cell block had to go back early to the kind of the quasi renovated daily buildings. I'm not quite stating it right. It's a big deal.
It's a conversation I'm not privy to, but
I'll find out. No worries.
that is, yeah, but I'm also talking, so can I finish my thought? We did talk about this previously, your ANC and me, that you wanted full funding for the renovation of the daily building. So if she did do that, that sounds like what you had asked for, was fully funding the daily building renovation.
This is something a little bit slightly different too, I think, but
don't
I'll find
think
out.
so.
Maybe
I
I'm a little
don't-
confused.
Yeah, I don't agree with what you're saying, and I don't like the
Well, I'm not saying it's agree or not. I might not be saying it right. But I
Yeah, I
know
think
there was a conversation
yeah.
between the city administrator and council member Pinto.
Okay, but I don't think
I'll
it was
figure it out.
I don't think it was secretive, so I don't like
No, it's not meant to be secretive.
yeah,
I'm
but
just
that's
saying.
kind of the way you're stating it, though.
No. I'm just saying whether she included any, because I didn't read her letter. I don't know if she included anything in her letter about the central cell block or anything.
Yeah, it might not be in the letter, but
Okay, well, that's fine. That's all I want to know. It's okay. All right, Commissioner Barry.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
hey, good, how are you?
So I had a question because I read that the Secure DC was going into effect immediately. Starting on Thursday, they're starting the drug-free zones, and I'm wondering how that will be enforced, because it's going to be enforced so immediately, what are the details of how that will be put into practice? I saw some locations in 2G that would be considered drug-free zones. And I would just like if you could clarify that for people who are listening and who are concerned about how that might impact them.
Sure, yeah. So I think I mentioned in my remarks, but the first of the zones in Ward 2, and there's only one in Ward 2 right now, is in Chinatown, and that is around the metro area. And like I said, it's like about 1,000 square feet. The order from the chief of police says the 600 to 700 block of I Street Northwest, 700 to 800 block of 8th Street Northwest, 700 block of G Street Northwest, 700 block of 7th Street Northwest, Gallery Place Northwest, and the 700 to 800 block of 6th Street Northwest. And so these zones, there's signs that have already been posted that I've seen in the media, but they're like a big orange sign that says this is a drug-free zone established by the chief of police. And it tells you that you cannot be doing anything, dealing drugs or using drugs in that area. And that if you are, you'll be asked to disperse, obviously, or be subject to arrest for any illegal activity. And yeah, I think that's generally all that I about that.
I mean, it sounds okay. Yeah, there's gonna be a sign, no drugs in this area. But how will that be enforced? Like if someone is there, I mean, because drugs are already illegal, like we all know. Someone's standing there, they're like, I just want to stand here. I'm not doing anything. What
Then
is
they, yeah, then they
there's
should have nothing. If they're just standing there, they should have nothing to worry about. So this is about illegal activity. It's a surge in police resources to certain areas that have been known hotspots. So if you've been around the Gallery Place Metro, in the past couple of years, you've probably noticed that there's a lot of drug activity going on because you can just see deals happening, honestly. I saw them during the day very often. And so this is seen as a tool to help the police break up that activity and make it less of a known spot for people to go and buy their drugs or use drugs.
So under no circumstance, from the sounds of it, from where you're standing, it won't lead to police harassing people who are just standing there if they don't disperse, or harassment of people standing together in an area that someone might feel that drug activity is taking place, because that is the implication.
Certainly, all laws are subject to abuse, I would say, but we are monitoring it, hoping that that doesn't happen. And then if it does happen, finding out what we can do to change it so that it's not happening. But that is not the goal. That's not the intention. MPD has said that they are not looking to just tell people you can't hang out here. And they also have been pretty explicit that if you're receiving services for substance abuse issues, that you will not be dispersed or in trouble for doing that in that area. So, for example, there's that new
And how are you monitoring it?
like literally checking in with
sorry,
it on a daily
what's that?
basis.
I said, how are you monitoring to make sure that people are not harassed? And if they are, what should they do in that situation?
If somebody's being harassed by the police, I think there's an office of police complaints they should go
Just
to.
file a police complaint? Is that what you suggest?
Not with the police. There's an office of police
Okay.
complaints. Yeah, and obviously you could tell our office as well because we have oversight abilities, especially as the council member's chair of Judiciary and Public Safety.
All right. Okay, Commissioner McCarty.
Hi, Brian. So I have reached out to Councilmember Pinto's office about 4 weeks ago. I actually reached out to Councilmember Pinto, Councilmember Nadeau, and Councilmember McDuffie about concerns with APCA's performance. I did receive responses from both Councilmember Nadeau and Councilmember McDuffie about how they could play their role in helping my constituents in 2GO4. But we're really having trouble with record keeping and the new APCA reporting system. And so I just wanted to ask, as Councilmember Pinto does sit on the Business and Economic Development Committee, which oversees APCA, why have I not received a response? And could you outline what Councilmember Pinto's steps are in terms of holding APCA accountable to their own record keeping and new online portal?
Sure. Well, I'm sorry you didn't receive a response. There's never a good excuse, but has been a busy couple of weeks for us, so I do apologize for that. I did see your tweet thread about this, and I contacted APCA, and they told me that they spoke to you and that there was an issue with some of the locations you had been entering, and they said that all of the complaints that they had been addressed, but that there were not a large number of complaints until the location issue was solved. Does that sound correct to you?
So that is correct, and I can follow up with you more, but I have complaint numbers and satisfactorily addressed addresses with their complaint system, and APCA has not given me my FOIA requests for those complaints. So the issue continues, but you're correct. There was an error in their reporting system that would not let constituents submit complaints.
Okay, so yeah, if you send me the complaints that have not been addressed, I can certainly follow up with APCA. And I think, yeah, they changed this to this new system. I hadn't used it until recently. And it doesn't look that high tech to me. So hoping they make some upgrades still.
Thank you.
All righty. Ms. Watkins.
Hello, Brian. I sent an invite to Councilwoman Pinto and several other officers from the MPD as well as the mayor's office to attend a meeting in the 2G03 monthly meeting on the 19th to talk about this secure DC and dispel, like you said, some of the rumors that are going on. And I haven't had a response. Is there someone else that I need to reach out to? No one has responded to me as to whether no one from MPD, no one from the mayor's office, and no one from Councilwoman Pinto's office has responded. What else do I need to do in terms of trying to get some sort of response, at least in acknowledgement of the email that I sent?
Of course, yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that too. So if you can forward that to me, I don't think I see one from you that was copied to me. But I'll send that to Maddie. She's the scheduler. And maybe she already did receive it, but I'll flag it again. And is it this coming Tuesday, the 19th?
Yeah, this coming. I sent the invite out at least 3 weeks ago, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, commissioners, let's go to the other side. Anyone on any member of the public have a question for Brian? He's from Councilmember Pinto's office. Raise your virtual hand or press *9. Anyone? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right, Brian.
Okay, thank you. Have a good meeting.
Good to go. All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to continue with just the announcements. The lieutenant has joined us, but does any commissioner have an announcement? Ms. Watkins, do you want to announce your meeting or just?
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for, my mute
Okay.
button. Yes, we're 2G03 will be holding a monthly meeting at the Walter T. Daniels Library on Tuesday, March the 19th at 5:30, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And I am encouraging, and like I just said to Brian, that I've invited MPD, someone from the mayor's office, from Councilwoman Pinto's office, to attend the meeting. It just gives you a time for the residents to pose any questions they have, whether it's safety, transportation, and definitely the new Secure DC crime bill that has been signed.
Okay, great. Alex.
Yes, I wanted to announce that the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development has extended the deadline for all of the grants in their portfolio that are available to businesses. That was due tomorrow, the 15th to the 29th of March. So folks that may not have been able to get their clean hands or had not been able to get estimates from contractors and were concerned that they weren't not be able to get their applications in for these grants. The most attractive one being the Great Streets retail grants at $85,000 a piece maximum. Now have another 2 weeks to do so. So you can go to obviouslydc.com for more information about those grant options.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alex. Commissioner Barry.
Last Tuesday, this past Tuesday, we did not have a transportation meeting because we did not have any new updates, but our next meeting is April 9th, Tuesday, April 9th. And at that meeting, there will be a new resolution presented regarding Rhode Island Avenue. So if you have any concerns or you live down that corridor that you would like to address about Rhode Island Avenue, please attend this meeting. I also have some more updates about the resolutions that we did submit about, to DDOT with, concerning transportation and public space and 2G. It starts at 6:30, second Tuesday of every month at 6:30.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Barry. All right, I have to do one update. I'll be very brief, otherwise I'll go on forever. So we did have our hearing yesterday concerning the potential jail coming to 501 New York Avenue, and it was fabulous. I was probably the only one that enjoyed, I think it was close to 5 hours, our hearing. I'm not sure, but I sat at this chair all day waiting to be heard. And I publicly want to say, I see Jackie is on here. Jackie Delaney was one of our witnesses. I want to thank all of our witnesses. We have a fantastic attorney. So to thank everyone for their time and for everyone who helped pre-hearing with the petitions and virtual, signing electronically and in person and getting the word out. I say thank you very much. You were a tremendous support to me, and I could not have done it without you. But moving forward, we do have a part 2, and that is the decision part, and that'll be at least a month or so, because the board wants the government to give them further information. And one of those main points has to be when there was someone last time in those cells. And we know it's been a very long time. And Commissioner McCarty and myself did a FOIA. There is no answer. We suspect the police actually do not know when someone was last there. Maybe. The government says 2017. We were told 2016. It's longer than the 3 years, so it's almost irrelevant. So, but it's going to be interesting. So be on the lookout for more information about that. And then once the government submits their information, we will then respond. But there is no answer. I wouldn't place any bets on this, folks. Period. We do not know how this is going to end up, but I thank everyone for their support. It has been a fabulous journey thus far, and we continue the journey. That is all. Okay, anyone from the public have any announcements whatsoever? Press *9 for if you're on the phone or one phone person, or raise your little virtual hand. Okay. Oh, hey, go ahead. Solana. Commissioner Picardi will move you over. Do you see her? Stephen? Oh, there she is. Okay. Ms. Solana from Events DC. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Solana Vandernet. I'm the Senior Manager of Community Engagement for the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. I'm happy to serve as a connection point between you and Events DC. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll put my contact information in the chat. As a reminder, to learn more about Events DC, our programs, initiatives, and other opportunities, visit eventsdc.com. If you haven't already done so, please sign up for our electronic mailing list and follow us on our social media platforms. I will put this information in the chat as well. Regarding the March event calendar for the rest of this month, we have 9 upcoming events at the Convention Center, 3 single day and 6 multi-days. I would like to highlight 3 of these events. Today and tomorrow, the Rock and Roll Running Series Packet Pickup is being held at the Convention Center with an estimated attendance of 10,000. A traffic advisory was distributed last week providing further details. I'll include the link in the chat. Monday, March 18th through Thursday, March 21st, the Satellite 2024 Conference and Exhibition will be with us with an estimated attendance of 15,000. And on Friday, March 22nd through Monday, March 25th, the ASCD Annual Conference and Exhibit Show will be at the Convention Center with an estimated attendance of 15,000. A traffic advisory was distributed yesterday, providing further details. I'll include the link in the chat as well. As far as upcoming events, we are excited to bring back our free public art tours. Join us Thursday, March 28th, 2024 for the Walter E. Washington Convention Center's free public art tour. We are very excited to share our collection with new viewers and the community. The art collection is the best kept secret in the nation's capital. In addition to being a state-of-the-art convention center, the building is home to one of the largest public art collections in Washington, D.C., outside of any D.C. museum, with 137 works by 93 artists. In celebration of Women's History Month, our March tour will highlight several pieces created by women artists. And I'll include the registration link in the chat as well. Thank you for letting me join this call, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Oh, someone did from the chat, and they want to know about the little shops on 9th Street. So we talked about that last month. Do you have an update? for us?
Yes, I don't. I'm so glad you and Alex were able to have that meeting less than 24 hours after we spoke. And just as of right now, we're still exploring ways to help out our tenants open for business and still evaluating the best way to move forward.
So wait. So that was weeks ago now. Wait, Alex, you listen to this? So I'm a little confused. So what is the status with the rest? How come we don't know yet?
What don't you know?
What, because that whole concern about where the restroom was for the pizza shop and for the coffee place and all, and apparently there was discussion and it was going to be resolved. So is there a resolution?
Well, we are doing as much as we can for the tenants. I'm sure they said to you that NCC assisted, we already have assisted the tenants with responding to comments received from Department of Health in respect to the restroom access.
What does that mean then? What does that respond to comments? So what's going on?
So the tenants need to finish up and do the remaining steps that needs to be done. So it's on the tenants. So, and again, as a reminder that it's the tenant's responsibility to obtain their permits. But we're here again to assist as much as we can, as we have been.
Alex, any comments?
Sure. So, to quickly recap the virtual meeting that Chair Nigro and I had with the team at Events DC, as Solana correctly characterized, about a day after the last commission meeting, the Department of Health had expressed concerns about bathroom access for those kiosks that do not have plumbing. But that Events DC had clarified that access to bathrooms inside the center would be made available to customers, staff that might need to access bathrooms. So it was still a little unclear as to how that was all going to work, because obviously there are ticketed events at the center that would security concerns that might preclude having someone that is a customer of one of the kiosks just being able to access general spaces at the center. But the impression that we were given was that NCC, having stated that access would be available, should have eliminated the Department of Health's concerns. But so I guess I'm unclear now, Solana, whether or not the Department of Health still has concerns, or whether or not, in fact, NCC's correspondence was satisfactory to them.
Again, as I stated before, and I'll continue to state that we've done as much as we can. They are the tenants. The tenants have to obtain their permits and certificate of occupancies and whatever additional paperwork that they need to get done. As we all know, any business here needs to do that. So once that is complete, then they'll be able to move forward.
So, okay, so we don't want to prolong this. So basically you're saying they just need to get their permits and their CFO, and there's no more problems about the bathroom.
What Events DC has done for the bathroom is we have done on our end as much as we could to help them. Now they have to finalize what DOH is asking of them in order for them to open.
I don't know what that even means.
It sounds like we're going to have to go back to the businesses and find out, one-on-one from them, what obstacles they are still encountering and what the source of the obstacles are, because apparently that isn't being shared with Solana. So
It's all, hopefully we'll have pizza and acai bowls and coffee one day soon, maybe.
Yes, and especially now that the weather's getting nice. So cool. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We thank you for your time. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else from the other side about public, any comments or anything? Otherwise, we're going to go to the police. No? Okay. Lieutenant Herring is on the other side. He is from 3D, the 3rd District. Alan Herring. Hi, Lieutenant. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
How about now?
Sounds good.
Okay. Good evening, folks. Nice to meet you folks. I'm Lieutenant Herring of the 3rd District, PSA 308. I recognize that 2G covers multiple PSAs, I believe 307 as well. Um, don't know how you guys want me to proceed here, but I can tell you just general
Just
raw
some
stats.
highlights, and if you have any data, any,
For the last month, there were no homicides, no sexual assaults reported in 2G, no assault with deadly weapons. There were 3 robberies. I can get into those if you folks would like. There were 2 burglaries, 14 theft from autos, and then 20 general thefts, such as from stores or from people maybe perhaps setting items down. And then there were also 9 stolen autos in the 2G area in the last month. Reference to robberies, 2 of the robberies remain open at this time. 1 was closed. There was a robbery at, get this address correct. 900 block of O's and Ocean Street Northwest. That robbery was closed. However, at this time, the other 2 robberies remain open. Anything further you folks need help with or have questions about?
yep, we're gonna, any commissioners, any questions for the lieutenant? Go ahead, Alex.
Lieutenant, on March the 3rd, the evening of March the 3rd, there were a series of car vandalism incidents that took place on the 700 block of Q Street Northwest. There were a number of windows broken, vehicles broken into. Do we have any suspects on this, or any intel or any knowledge of a relationship to similar incidents nearby?
Let's see. Do you know if all of those were, if a report was taken for all of those incidents?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go in here. See one on take that back. Let's see here. Sorry, folks, I'm getting multiple emails at the same time. Apologize for that. And would you happen to have those report numbers by any chance?
I do not. I was
Copy
not the complaint. I was not the complainant, so I don't have the report numbers, but I can certainly try to get them for you. So, but
Gotcha.
there were 4 cars on the north side of the street that were affected, and neighbors saw the individuals who were wearing masks, called the police right away. Police arrived 4 to 5 minutes later. Obviously, the suspects, had departed at that point. I was trying to find out.
Gotcha. The only thing I see in the 700 block of O Street is a theft, a general theft, not a theft from
That was Q as in
Q.
Queen.
Q. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at. Q Street. My apologies. And the only thing I see in the 700 block of Q is in Queen Street is a general theft. I do not see any. But but maybe we could do some following up on that one.
Well,
And what
I'll
day
try-
was that?
I'm sorry?
What day was that?
That was March the 3rd.
So
Okay, I
Lieutenant,
can
why don't you
follow up.
follow up with Alex, because why don't we just kind of move if you can't find it?
Heard that.
And then the other incidents, I don't know if Commissioner Berry was planning on bringing them up, but the two instances of window breakage taking place at the new Urban Grape in the past week. Apparently, there's camera footage of the suspect, who apparently is very distinctive, and I know the business owners were eager to try to get those images out to the public so we can try to catch these characters before they strike again. They might have been responsible for the glass breakage incident, now another week ago down at Petite Cerise, down at 7th and L. So we've had a rash of window breakage at neighborhood businesses. So anything on that?
And the Urban Grape, that would be on 9th Street, 1300 block of 9th.
That's, yes, 1301 9th Street.
Okay. Those are older cases I'm looking at right now.
Well, it sounds like we need to do a little, fact checking here. But let's, try to get some answers here, because like I said, if we can get some of those images of the suspects from the camera footage that we can get out to the community, other businesses can be on the lookout, residents can be on the lookout, and we can try to prevent further incidents like that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that about the Urban Grape Acts. I did not know that. So,
Twice in the course of a week.
okay.
Okay, yes, I have the lookout right now. The set to the 3D mailing list on yesterday on the 13th. Right now, looking at the photo, it's kind of a blurred out photo, but it appears to be a black male wearing a white sweater in the photo for 1301 9th Street.
Well, if you can share that with the commissioners, we can try to get it out so folks can be on the lookout. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ms.
Yep.
Watkins.
Lieutenant Herring, I sent an email out to you regarding an invitation to attend our 2GO3 meeting, because we had the same concerns. There were quite a few car break-ins in the 2GO3 area. On 6th Street, I even sent pictures of the break-ins that's been going on, and it's increasing. I would like to know at this time if you would be available to meet with the residents at the monthly meeting. I resent you the email just now, inviting you to attend the meeting, which is going to be next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
Yes, I did get a response from Assistant Chief Robinson saying that there will be more patrols in that area, especially during those weekend times when the clubs are open. But I haven't gotten a response, and that you would be getting back to me. So if you're available next Tuesday, I would appreciate you stopping by the Walter T. Daniels Library at 5:30. It's from 5:30 to 7 on 7th Street Northwest. I sent you the email again.
I do see the email, and
Thank you.
I should be available next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Commissioner McCarty.
Thank you, Chair Nigro. Mr. Herring, I just wanted to ask one quick question, but would it be helpful to MPD if our commissioners sent in questions 24 hours before our meeting so that you had time to prepare reports for our monthly incidences and make sure you could have evidence to respond to any of our specific questions?
That would be helpful. That would be helpful, be outstanding as a matter of fact. As you can see, kind of trying to go back and figure out exactly what each commissioner is, or what each question is.
Mr. Herring. Thank you. I think Chair Nyker and myself can try to work with our
Great idea.
to get you that information sooner.
Simple email. All right. Good job, Stephen. Okay. Any other questions before I open up to the public, commissioners? No. Okay. All right, public. This is Lieutenant Herring from the 3rd District of the Metropolitan Police Department. If you have a question, please raise your little virtual hand or press *9. Any questions for MPD? Oh my gosh. It's an easy night. Okay, going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right, Lieutenant, we thank you for your time.
All right, folks, thank you.
Okay, take care, be safe.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so we're gonna go to our first agenda item we're gonna vote on, and this is 1322 9th Street Northwest. That's for a Board of Zoning Adjustment for support for their special exceptions. I think up there's, yep. And then I saw Mark, yeah, okay, there he is, okay. All right, so this is in Commissioner McCarty's area. We actually talked last month about this for the Historic Preservation Review Board, wants, desires, whatever. And now this week with this, we were talking about the zoning issues, the BZA issues. So Commissioner, would you like to start us off with a little?
Yeah, I might begin to sound like a bit of a broken record, but 1322 9th Street, same project in SMD 2G04. We've had an overwhelming outreach of community support in favor of the project. Right now, it's a gravel lot that tends to collect graffiti, trash, and drug paraphernalia. So my constituents are very happy to see this hopefully being infilled soon with a new development. Again, I'll just reiterate, overwhelming community support. The few folks that have reached out have made specific requests to the design firm, Katerina and Marty, about concerns about shade and the shade cast by the building. Katerina and the design firm have done a really excellent job at delivering those reports and also explaining their impact. And so I am happy to also say that the folks who have expressed initial concerns about the project have said they're still very generally acceptive and excited about the concept of the project and have been moved in a positive direction to see that the shadow studies presented by Katerina and their firm show minimal impact of shading onto their properties within Naylor Court. So again, I just want to commend Katerina and their firm for working so diligently, my constituents especially, to hear their feedback and respond to that feedback. And my constituents in 2G04 still have continued to express an overwhelming support for the project.
Okay, I don't know if you guys want to bring up your presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Katerina Ferreira. I'm the architect. I will let Mr. Sullivan take the lead on this, since this is a discussion about the BZA case, and I will be available to answer questions and supplement with additional information as needed.
Thanks, Katerina. So my name is Marty Sullivan. I'm zoning counsel for the property owner and developer. So we're asking for 4 areas of relief. I'm asking for a special exception from the lot occupancy. The maximum is 75%, and the requested is 86%. There's 2 main reasons for that. One is we've got certain areas of the building that don't go all the way up to the highest level. One reason, there's the historic carriage house in the back, and so that's staying at the one level. And then there's some openings on the side here to allow light in for the neighboring property. So while we've maxed out the permitted FAR, we're over the lot occupancy because it's not one single block. So that's 86%. The second area of relief is special exception relief from the penthouse setback requirements. And there's a 1-to-1 setback requirement, meaning the penthouse walls need to be set back from the roof edge a distance equal to their height. And so that's 10 feet. And that's on all 4 sides. So we've got the setback met on the front, setbacks met on the back. On the north side, the setback is met for everything except this area there where there's a court there. And because there's a setback required from the roof edge on that court, we're asking for setback relief for that, even though it is about 10 feet from the property edge, it's on the edge of the roof. So for that little stretch, it needs relief. And then on the south side of the building, we have a 5-foot setback. Now, most of that building is on that top story is already set back from the property about 10 feet. So the penthouse is actually about 15 feet back, but because it's only 5 feet back from the roof edge, we need relief for that. So, and then the third area of relief is a special exception from the side yard. There's a jog in the southwest corner of the property here. And for that space, which is about 5 feet, the side yard shrinks from exceeding the requirement, which is 8.1 feet, to a little less than the requirement. It's 6.5. So it's 1.5 feet short for a stretch of about 5 feet at the back there. So we're asking for relief from that. And the fourth area of relief is for parking for special exceptions. We have a requirement of 6 spaces. We have a car share space and a regular space. So that equates to 4 spaces. So we're asking for relief from 2 spaces to complete the parking requirement. And we could actually do 2 car shares and avoid the relief, but property developer didn't think it's a good idea to have 2 car shares and not have at least one of those spaces available for the building. In response to comments that we had at the committee, the owner did investigate available parking in the area. We could meet the parking requirement if we could find spaces within 600 feet of the property that were not already satisfying some other requirement. And has been impossible to find. That's difficult to find. Most every property, the parking spaces there satisfy that parking requirement. If it's a PUD, that's a required parking. We can't take parking away from that. And so we were unable to find that. And in addition to that, we don't think, which was mentioned at the committee meeting as well, that the eventual residents of the building are likely to be car owners. And also, if we did get parking spaces contracted somewhere in the area, we think they would be too far away to be used, and we'd be taking them away from some other part of the community that might use it as well. And I think that might be just wasting a space as well. So that's all I have. Katerina, if you want to take them through the pretty pictures.
Thank you, Marty. I'll just go through the drawings to explain the project a little bit more, and maybe the most useful view, skip the floor plans, they're self-explanatory, but we have 40 units in the building. It's 4 stories plus cellar and penthouse. And we have already discussed the design as we all know, but I'll just go to the 3D view just to illustrate what Marty was talking about regarding the way that the south side of the building is carved out in order to provide more access to light to the adjoining property at 1320. And this is something that we coordinated with that property owner. And it is for that reason, because we are pulling away from the property line almost 10 feet. It is for that reason that we require the setback relief at the penthouse on that side. So normally the relief is to be 10 feet from the edge of the building, which usually coincides with the property line. And this is specific to historic district and some other conditions. But because we are pulling away from the property line about 10 feet already, we would have to pull another 10 feet away from the roof edge in order to meet the zoning regulations by the letter. But in reality, we are actually almost 15 feet away from the property line. So this is, it's an improvement compared to the condition of if we had built the building all the way to the edge, if that makes sense. So it's relief that's triggered really by our extensive coordination with the adjoining property owner. Let's see. I can show you also some 3D views. Here's a 3D view from the rear. Existing carriage house, which again is what triggers the need for relief from the lot occupancy limit because it exists. It's already there. We are not building on top of it. So the rest of the building is within the allowable lot occupancy. The only thing that's outside of it is the carriage house itself. Some views from the street side, just to further illustrate the project. I won't go into too much detail about the design. We've already discussed that, but I will be glad to answer any questions that anyone may have about it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have anything further either. So if anybody has any questions for me as well, thank you.
Marty, can you take down the presentation? Thanks. Okay, commissioners, any questions concerning this whatsoever? No? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead.
So not a question, but a comment and an explanation for why I will not be voting to support this application. So I don't know whether or not we're doing a single motion or we're doing separate motions on each of the individual aspects. So as I explained at the committee meeting last week, this commission, including in its current iteration as recently as last year, has declined to support parking relief for developments in this particular type of scenario, including on 9th Street. Parking is the #1 issue that we hear from our constituents related to development, and is the one that we get the most pushback on. So in the past, we have declined to support requests for parking relief, and instead have asked the developers to do what Mr. Sullivan had indicated, which was to make other parking arrangements nearby to be able to satisfy them, especially when there are so few parking spaces that are involved, as is the case here. So in order to be consistent with previous votes and the positions of the commission, I'm going to be voting. If there are separate votes on each of the individual requests for relief, I'll only vote against the request for parking relief. If it's just one overall vote, then I'll have to vote to not support a project that otherwise I would complete support of. Thank you.
Okay, understood. Any, Stephen?
I just want to counter Commissioner Padro's statement before I make my motion, in that, myself, Katerina, Marty, the developers have been doing extensive outreach to the community and constituents over the past 2 months. And parking is not the #1 issue on my constituents' minds. They have said that they want this project, even the very few folks who have said they have concerns about shading acknowledged at last week's committee meeting that parking is not an issue. And so, I'm excited and happy to support my constituents, what they want and value for our community, for their community. And parking is the least of their concerns in this regard. We're excited again to see, to welcome more neighbors, to infill a lot that has just brought trouble and anxiety and concerns to our neighborhood. And so I just want to reiterate that we've done the outreach, we've worked with our constituents, and parking is not at the top of their minds.
Okay, and I will add at the committee meeting, Alex did voice his concern about the parking, and it's nice to have, we had a resident actually zoom in, which was nice, and give a real opinion. So, and so the committee passed all the motions, so we were in favor of it. And Commissioner Barry? Do you have a question?
Yes, I'm hearing everyone saying, and I respect what Stephen is, Commissioner McCarty is saying, because his residents will be directly impacted. But we live in a very condensed area, and what happens when there's not parking available right there on 9th Street or in those, main corridors? People begin to park into GO5 and in very residential areas, and that becomes a problem for residents. So it is not just something that is just centered on one location. And I happen to get a lot of people complaining to me and speaking to me about parking, especially in the springtime and when street cleaning is a factor, and also when there are more events at the convention center, which is a huge part of 2GO5, and our areas directly border each other, Commissioner McCarty. So like a lot of traffic and parking, like Commissioner Nigro could tell her residents, like she mentions all the time, people from the convention center will park in 2GO6. Like all of that feeds into other areas. So we do need to be aware of it. It is something that we do need to focus on and work on. We cannot ignore the fact that we are slowly taking away parking from residents that live here, that pay for residential permit parking, that people who come into we have to also consider the people who are visiting the convention center. That is a huge part of our district as well. And that's going to impact us. So we can't just ignore that there's just one building with 40 units that's coming in and they don't have parking, or give exceptions to every smaller project, because that will be a catalyst for other smaller projects to come in and get those exceptions as well.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. And not just, from my experience of dealing with my constituents and concerns that they have had, I think it's important that I voice that as well.
And Commissioner McCarty, do you have a?
Yeah, so Commissioner Barry, I appreciate you sharing your opinion. I just want to rebut that a bit by saying that there are definitely other avenues to address parking. Most of 9th Street Northwest is paid parking. It's not residential parking. And that could positively impact a lot of my constituents and your constituents, as well as any of our constituents that are located near 9th Street. If you walk down that street any day, those are all Virginia and Maryland plates who are driving into the city paying to park. Why can we not focus on, work with DDOT to make sure that maybe some of those spaces are opened up to our actual residents? That is one option that I would encourage, this commission, if we are serious about making sure residents have more access to residential parking, we should consider that. There are parking garages owned by the convention center where convention attendees can pay to park there, right? And so it should not be a burden on 9th Street. If we're worried about making sure our constituents have parking, maybe the argument is that it should not be a burden on 9th Street, and it should be a burden on the actual convention center itself, and some of the local businesses that are really bringing in the folks who are parking and already taking up spaces from our constituents. I also just want to add that for background, Naylor Court is in the Shaw Historic District. There are a lot of extra regulations and procedures that must be examined and followed in historic districts. And so one of the reasons, and I know Katerina explained this in the past, but this project, it's hard to add more parking because there is a historic row house, a carriage house in the back of this lot. And so, you know, this historic district it's a historic alley community. They're very specific to DC. They're specific to this area entirely. And so it's going to be hard to parking spaces no matter what. And so while I do, you know, I don't want to say that your concerns for parking are not valid. I just want to say that it's going to be really hard to address in this one specific project, given its status in Naylor Court and the Shaw Historic District. And so really this just pushes it back on me and my constituents saying we have to suffer with a gravel parking lot forever because we're never going to be able to find enough parking spaces in this historic district, right? Like I know Katerina, if Katerina could remove the historic carriage house, which I would never ask for, they could add all of the spaces and meet the requirements. But the simple fact is there's no way to do that. This is a historic district, an historic Black district in DC history. And so we simply, are we going to leave it a gravel lot, or are we going to welcome more neighbors and support the constituents who want to bring folks into the community and want to welcome them and fill this gravel lot?
Okay. Okay, you get the, okay. Well, then we gotta go to the other side. Ms. Berry, go ahead.
I understand. And like you said, like my concerns are definitely valid because I'm hearing from my constituents and I understand, I'm reading the comments, but there is like I said, there is a certain profile to people who live here and do not drive. And that profile does not fit me necessarily. And while, you know, the carriage house is historical, we have to consider that, you know, the historical district on 9th Street is being slowly torn down, and we're giving exceptions to buildings to be taller, to do all of these things. So when we have a smaller project, the way DC is built up is smaller projects over time. And that has to be factored in. It cannot be ignored because it's a carriage house, because every building will have a story and a reason of why they need an exception, and will come and say, well, we need this exception because X, Y, Z. And I do think housing is important. But like I said, parking is a huge issue in this area. It is not just Maryland and Virginia plates that have a problem with parking. I mean, because I live in DC, I have the same issue. So that cannot be the issue.
Mr. Berry, let's go to the other side. I think we've just,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's read the,
So I have my hand up with 2 points of information.
okay, Alex, go.
So 2 points of
Brief,
information
brief.
to Mr. McCarty's statement. So number one, FSDC does not control any surface parking lots. He made a statement that FSDC, actually the convention center had parking lots, so they did not have public parking lots. Number two, he made a statement that generalization that 9th Street was paid parking, and the south of P Street, that is the case, but north of P Street, that is not the case. Between P Street and T Street, there is no paid parking.
All right, so I'm going to open up to the other side. If anyone has a comment, press your virtual hand, raise your little virtual hand, or press star 9. And in the written comments, we have Lauren, who says, as a constituent in 2G03, high density is a huge benefit to the neighborhood that allows for a more vibrant community. There are many paid options for, I cannot read this. Someone finished, I can't do this. What does it say at the end here? More paid options, parking, and this parking requirement severely limits the options for new developments to come in. Okay, that's her opinion. There we go. And then we have Robert Goldberg. The average person that lives in Blagden Naylor does not drive. We need a population to make our area more vibrant and safe. Okay, Sheena, you don't understand the historic nature of Blagden Alley. We are a nationally recognized historic district under the national parks. Are you aware of that? we want to actually walk through the documents. If you want to actually walk through the documents, okay, this is talking to Sheena, okay. All right,
I'm actually very aware of all the history of Shaw. I'm a Howard University graduate. I focused on Black history, specifically in Washington, D.C., right here in Shaw. So, Mr. Goldberg, you are not aware of what I understand, but thank you for the offer. I still say that I am elected to represent my constituents, and I have to speak out on this whenever this happens. I want to support this project. I've seen Katerina here. She's done a wonderful job. I love the building. I think it's beautiful. I do want more projects in DC. I want them to fit into our neighborhood somewhat. I don't think everything should have to fit necessarily. I'm not against every single project, but when we continue to ask for exceptions for parking, I do need to say something and stand up for the people who already have an issue with it.
Okay, so does anyone on the other side want to speak to us? Raise your virtual hand or press *9. Anyone at all? No. Okay, Commissioner McCarty, go ahead, and if you want to make the motion, and from what I understand, you will not be breaking up the release special exceptions, right?
Yes, thank you,
Okay.
Commissioner Nygaard. So I move that Commission 2G grant the zoning relief requested by our applicant at 1322 9th Street Northwest in the following 4 areas: special exception relief from the lot occupancy requirements of G404.1, which is a maximum of 75%, whereas relief would be granted with 86%. Pursuant to G 1200.1. Also, special exception relief from penthouse setback requirements in C 1504.1C pursuant to 1506.1. Also, a special exemption from the parking space requirement of C 703.2 to reduce the parking requirement by 2 spaces pursuant to that same regulation, with the recommendation that the developers form a partnership to offer nearby discounted parking, even if that parking is available more than 600 feet away from the premises. Also, special exception for relief from the side yard setback requirements of G 208.2 pursuant to G 5200.1. And again, I'm making this motion with the rationale that my constituents are fully in support, excited for this project. Again, I want to reiterate that parking is not at the top of their mind, and that what is more at the top of their mind is making sure a new project comes in that fills an eyesore in the community, and that will hopefully benefit our own public safety by making sure that there's not a gravel lot for nefarious activities to take place.
Thank you for that motion. Do I have a second? Or I'm sorry, first, I should say, I apologize. Any other questions about the motion? Commissioners, no. Do I have a second? I second. Okay, we're gonna take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any nays?
Nay.
Okay, so let me just start that. So it's Commissioner McCarty and myself are the yays, nays? Alex Padro, Sheena, Ms. Watkins, and any abstentions? Okay, Tony. Okay, motion does not pass. Okay. There we go. And let me just say, for everyone who's on this call, if you want to go write the BZA letter or go before them or whatever, I sat there for 5 hours. Yes, people, they listen. Okay. So whatever side you're on, you can take a stance. Okay. Write a letter, reach out. Okay.
So I have a motion to make.
Okay. What's your motion?
That ANC 2G oppose the granting of relief requested by the developers 1322 9th Street Northwest, and that we communicate that opposition to the Board of Zoning Adjustment.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, no second. Okay, sorry, Alex.
No, fine.
Okay. We're gonna move on. Okay, Mr. Goldberg. Okay, as I said, you can reach out to the BZA on your own. Okay. All right, here we go. Who
Could
said something?
Alex repeat what he said? Because there were some things in the motion that Commissioner McCarty made that
We're over. It's done. We're done.
okay.
Done. Moving on. Okay, everyone. Thank you. 1322 9th Street. Okay, so we now have up 1250 9th Street Northwest, the all-purpose pizzeria for the request to expand the premises for the adjacent building next door, which was the Buttercream Bake Shop. And this is also in Commissioner McCarty's area. Commissioner McCarty. Are the pizza, I'm sorry, are the all-purpose people here?
I just moved, I tried to move that over, but while I'm trying to move that over, I will add, again, another very widely generally supported project by 2GO4 constituents. Not quite sure if that matters to the rest of the commission at this point, but it has been widely well received by 2GO4 constituents. So I hope my fellow commissioners will take that into consideration in their next vote. But the only two complaints that I received from constituents were to make sure that all-purpose pizzeria was not accepting deliveries in the internal portion of Blagden Alley. Mr. Menorah successfully relayed to me that they are only accepting deliveries on the 9th Street loading zone and on N Street Northwest. So that assuaged my constituents' concerns. And we also had constituent concerns about metered utilities because all-purpose is in the restaurant retail first floor of the Colonel apartment building. And so Mr. Menorah also assured me that they are completely separately metered from all, individually metered for all utilities aside from the Colonel apartment building. So I'm excited to offer my support for this APCA placard and expansion.
Any questions from the commissioner? Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. Do you want to say anything, Matt?
Oh, no. Commissioner McCarty summed it up pretty well, and I really appreciate the support that we had from Commissioners Padro, Brown, and McCarty at the ABC committee meeting last week, and we're looking forward to getting the other space opened up in the next couple of months.
Okay, and Alex, do you have anything to add from the committee?
So first of all, there is a representative from the establishment in the attendee list, so it's Cullen McDonough.
Oh, fantastic.
Move Mr. McDonough over. So yes, as Mr. Menorah indicated, the ABC licensing committee did meet last Thursday and discussed this matter and provided unanimous support for the application to extend the operations and the sale of alcohol by this establishment to the space that is being added to it.
There was someone else to come over. Was he going to speak, Matt?
No, I actually wasn't sure if Colin was able to make it tonight, so I'm glad he's here.
Oh, he's right here. Is this Colin right here? Oh, there is. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, it's going. What would you like to say to us?
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, I'm on a noisy street, so hopefully it's coming through clear. Just appreciate the support from the community, appreciate the support from the ANC, and we're looking forward to getting another storefront activated in Shaw, so that can help the neighborhood and hopefully help with adding a new food flavor to the neighborhood, but also helping with not having empty storefronts in our neighborhood.
All right. Okay. Any questions from the commissioners about this? It's very exciting. Any questions from the public? Press, raise your little virtual hand or press *9 if you're the person on the phone. No? Okay, Commissioner McCarty.
I move that Commission 2G expresses support for the request and new APCA placard for all-purpose pizzeria at 1250 9th Street Northwest, Abra license 098919 for retailers Class C restaurant to expand its premises to the adjacent space to its south, formerly Buttercream Bake Shop on both the ground floor and basement levels.
Okay, do I have a second? Commissioner Barry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 6-0-0. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for the support. Really appreciate it.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, everybody.
We're going to talk about 1301 9th Street. This is the Urban Grape. This is for the renewal of their Class A retail license. This has been around for a while. And they just opened, so I forgot how long, right? Anyone? Commissioner Barry?
Yeah. Is there anyone here from Urban Grape? The Urban Grape?
No. Any feedback, Alex, from the committee?
Certainly. So Urban Grape was represented by council at the committee meeting last Thursday. And yes, although the establishment did just open in January, they are already having to renew their license because of the license renewal cycles. And so there have been no complaints about the operations of Urban Grape, and Commissioner Berry indicated that she supported the renewal of the license. So the committee voted unanimously to recommend that the commission support the license.
Great. All right, Commissioner Berry, do you want to go ahead and make the motion then?
Yes, I move that ANC 2G support the Urban Grapes located at 1301 9th Street Northwest for their request for support for renewal of Class A retailer license.
Seconded.
Second.
Okay, Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0-0. Thank you, everyone. Okay. I am the next topic here. This is a recurring about additional legal funds for us fighting the potential jail at 501 New York Avenue. This is from the Legal Expert Assistance Fund from the Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commissions. They have a pot of money. We have already received one grant. And Tony, did we actually get that money? I don't think so, right? Okay. We have to have a follow-up. So this would be from a second, we're gonna request a second $5,000. And I'm, when I originally wrote, the director of the Office of OANC, he said, just do the same thing, to do a motion. And so why I'm doing this again, and just to, not only was it very long yesterday, 5 hours or whatever it was exactly, but last week, the government said I did not file in a timely manner. And so she had to work on that. That was completely unexpected. Now, it worked out fine yesterday, but there was emails and all this type of stuff, and she had to actually defend me and my submission. So there you go. There was more money. We did not expect that. So we're going to be asking for this other $5,000. Any questions, commissioners?
So one question, Commissioner Nigro, I'm obviously in support of the request for that funding, but now that we do have, or the Office of ANC does have Land Use Council in place, should not that Land Use Council be taking over the representation beyond the original assignment with?
No, that was part of my question, if I remember exactly. So it's like a continuous. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Did I ask that? I think I did. Well, because honestly, that wouldn't make much sense. That would be, especially, and we're almost near the end too. Because we have just one more, well, let's hope, just one more thing with our council, and that would be her response.
I think
For,
you asked that in the initial request, and I
Huh?
think I think you asked that in the initial.
did I can't remember, did I?
And I think
What
who
did
the
you
council-
say?
I can't remember.
Okay, well, let me hold on. I have the email. Wait. Mhm. Okay, so yeah, I said, thank you again for the $5,000. How would the commission go about reapplying for additional funds for the same issue and lawyer once the $5,000 is used up? And he said he's including the link and to basically, we have to vote at the meeting. So same thing. Yep.
Okay,
So-
well, like I said, I'm in favor of it. My only, concern is, I hope that the OANC would approve it and not say, well, we now have legal counsel available, so no, you should not.
No, he didn't say he wrote that in the email.
When was that dated?
That was March 1st.
Okay, well, then it's reason enough, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was 2 weeks ago. My God, I feel like I've lived a lifetime in 2 weeks. Okay. So I move that ANC 2G support my request for an additional $5,000 grant from the Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commission for their expert assistance fund for our legal assistance concerning the 501 New York Avenue case.
Friendly amendment, the commission's request, not your request.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'll
Amendment accepted.
And I'll second the motion.
Okay, Alex seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Motion passes 600. And now this is a little bit out there. And I don't know if I'd have to talk to Ken about any additional funds. Like, so there was a letter that was put out concerning council member Pinto's concessions or whatever, compromise or whatever it was that she said. And so this document, what they think it's, or they say it's valid. It was only signed by Delano Hunter, and it has to do with that anyone who is detained in the potential 501 New York Avenue spot, that they would not be released. Well, I brought up the issue in several emails about, well, what about constitutional rights? And they go, nope, they're just going to be driven back to Indiana Avenue. There's something not right. And it's not notarized. It's not the mayor's signature. I don't know. So this is future that I'm going to talk to Kent, if I would like to get that letter looked at, if that even makes any sense that they can even say that no one can be released from there. If you're free to go, you're free to go. So that's just putting that on the table right now. So I'm going to talk to Ken about that, but I just wanted to make you aware, because if this jail does come to 501 New York Avenue, we know there's going to bring concerns. So I'm getting ready. Getting ready. But this is more informational purposes. That is all. Okay. All right. Any other, what's going on here, Stephen?
There was just a comment about some of the participants said they couldn't actually raise their hand to
Oh no!
22 9th Street Northwest.
Oh gosh!
Discussion.
What happened?
So I just shared that this absolutely isn't the end of it. The commission took no formal action in support or opposition of the project tonight. And that folks can reach out to me at 2go4@anc.dc.gov. And we will continue to rally the overwhelming community support to make sure zoning knows that it is what the community desires.
Was that checked out? I mean, Stephen, was that my mistake?
I'm not
sure. I don't know. Okay. I
So this
apologize,
is
people who could
Sorry.
not raise their little hand. I hope that will not happen again. All right. Now we have Tony. Well, let's approve the minutes. So first, did y'all look at the minutes from Karen for last month? Any additions, comments? Alex.
I move that the commission approve the minutes of the February 8th, 2024 meeting with any corrections submitted to the preparer.
Okay, do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Watkins seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes 600. Thank you. And Tony?
Yes, good evening. Let me do a little housekeeping first. Back in January, I believe we approved the 2024 fiscal budget, but in the minutes, it did not reflect that we had even voted on it. So we're going to have to go back and make an amendment to, or add into the minutes the discussion we had about the budget and only adding the additional funds in the other allotment to balance out the equation. So that's one thing that has to be done. Another one has to be done is in January. Well, for this month, I'm sorry, for this month, our quarterly report is due. So Dawn and I, we got together to go through the new automated process. They had not added into the 2G fund the additional $7,730 until this year. So nothing balanced coming into this year. So Dawn was supposed to go back to the programmers to get that fixed in order for us to use the system to do the first quarter report. I sent her an email. I think I CC'd you, Rochelle. So as soon as that's done, we'll be able to approve the first quarter report. In addition to that, I will also follow with OANC about the $5,000 because we've already written a check with $1,500 of that $5,000. So I'll update you on that.
Have the invoice and all that. So we'll, and I'm going to set up a meeting with Kent anyway. So I'll invite you too, so we can all be on the same page.
Yes, and there was a change in the PO box annual amount from 460 to 474. We'll go back and make that amendment. I'll basically just outline all this stuff, and we can pass it next month and get all our records straight. Okay. All right. So let me go to. I'm gonna go back to February's monthly statement because I wasn't here. We had an opening balance of $660.90. This was as of January 31st, 2024. Excuse my voice. I'm still dealing with my asthma. So anyway, 660-0.90 plus we got the allotment of $7,730.82, which brought our available balance up to $8,391.72. There were 3 debit charges. The Zoom, which was charged on January 2nd for $100.69. The PO box was $474. That was on January 24, 24. And Squarespace as the annual fee for the web page, also on January 24, 24. Those 3 charges were a total of $867.25. We also have 1, 2, 3 in February. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outstanding checks, totaling $598.12, which brought our ending balance that was available down to $6,926.35. Okay. I'm gonna go over to March. Of course, they're gonna have a different figure from the ending balance to this one because we had things that came in before the end of the month. So we have an opening balance on 2/29/24 of $7,512. I'm sorry, $7,513.46. We had 2 debit charges, Zoom on February 2nd for $100.69. And also on January 1st, we had postage charge of $6.75 to do a mailing to Karen Haley. We had 4 checks that came in, $275 Karen Yaley, another $275 Karen Yaley, a $68.32 check, and the $1,500 for the 501 New York Avenue case. The debit charges were a total of $107.44. The checks that were cashed were $2,118.32, bringing us down. Well, let me just add the outstanding checks that were still outstanding of $590.12. Our ending available balance is $4,689.58. Okay, now new charges. We only have 2 this month. Well, it's really 3, but I was informed by Dawn that I can combine them together and write one check.
Oh.
So I have 2 charges from Rochelle Nigro to Jot Form, and that was for posting the online petition for 501 New York Avenue.
And so let me explain that real quick. So that was when people did the online thing, all those hundreds of people, it collected it and they were able to organize it. It was actually a fabulous program. So.
Okay, so we had 2 charges. One was for February and the other was for March. Both of them were in the amount of $136.74. For the 2 months, $273.48. So I moved that ANC 2G reimburse Rochelle Nigro the amount of $273.48 for the posting of the online petition for 501 New York Avenue.
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't vote for myself. I'm sorry.
Right.
Alex second, right, Alex?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, motion passes 5-0. I'm abstaining 1.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And the last expenses, was there a comment? Okay, I'm sorry. We have one more expense, and that's for Karen Yaley performing the minute taking and monthly website maintenance for this month in the amount of $275. I moved that ANC 2G approve the expense for note taking and website maintenance by Karen Yaley and reimburse and pay her $275.
Seconded.
Okay, Alex seconds the motions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 6-0-0, motion passes. Okay.
Okay. And that's it for the moment. But I will have those adjustments and I will check on that $5,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because so what I've also requested, of course, what they have currently from our council in terms of the charges. Again, I did not expect last week's flare up. That was unexpected, but welcome to the government. That's what they're trying to get me.
Right. So one other thing I forgot. Once the first quarter report is finalized and forwarded to OANC, we should get our first allotment for this year. So that would be approximately $8,000 added to the coffers.
And we thank you for your hard work, Tony. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's rough, I know.
Yes, it is.
And we should have a little lesson about the new system, you and I too.
I went through the entire system.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's learn together.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, commissioners? Anything? No. Okay. All right. I move that ANC 2G adjourn this meeting.
Second.
2 seconds. Tony seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0-0. Okay. We'll see everyone on April 11th.
Okay.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Whatever holiday. All right, everyone. Take care. Everyone stay safe.
All right.
Bye, everyone on the other side. Bye-bye.